Ẹ ṣé o bàbá, àwa ń dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́. Ẹ ṣé o bàbá, àwa ń dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́. Bàbá, ẹ ṣé o bàbá, àwa ń dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́. Máa wo picture Ìgbòho Òòṣà tí ń palẹ̀mọ́ fún Starr Radio. Ẹ ṣé o bàbá, àwa ń dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́. Ẹ ṣé o bàbá. Starr Radio UK morning show. Set up quickly before we eventually become live. Da 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 da. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ Nàìjíríà ọmọ tó fẹ́ àsìkò tó yẹ ká máa think ìpolúkọ. Gbogbo àwọn tó ń náà support politician yẹn tó bá yá nísìnyí àwọn máa wá visa láti fi sá kúrò Nàìjíríà. Èyí tí ẹ ká darapọ̀ nísìnyí ká sọ́ta tara wa ká kúrò ní Nàìjíríà. Tó bá yá nísìnyí gbogbo wọn máa wá visa tó fẹ́ fi kúrò ní Nàìjíríà. You know, instead of us to just all come together, ká sọ pé Nàìjíríà work, kí Igbo dá dúró, Yorùbá dá dúró, kólúkálukú dá dúró. Ìyẹn kúkú nípa ní bára wa ṣe. But irọ́ wọ́n fẹ́ yẹn. Àwọn ò fẹ́ yẹn rárá. You know, wọ́n fẹ́ káwọn politicians ṣe máa parọ́ fún wọn. Politicians ṣe ń parọ́ fún wọn left and right. Kólúkálukú bá dá dúró, a máa ṣèjọba ara wa, a ní gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ara wa. Èèyàn kan ní máa jẹ gàba lórí èèyàn kan. But irọ́, they don't want that. Gbogbo wọn sáré lọ́tùn lósì. Àṣepé tí bá lọ dìbò fáwọn politician ayé wọn máa bẹ́tà. Ìgbàtẹ́lómi òkúkú mọ ìtàn pè ní pé kíyàn fight fún orílẹ̀-èdè tiẹ̀. And a lot of them know. Ẹ wo gbogbo àwọn lọ́ọ̀yà tó MBA tó ṣe lánàá nísìn. Ṣáwọn yẹn máa náwọn mọ problem Nàìjíríà. Gbogbo àwọn MBA gbogbo àwọn tó yẹ kíyàn máa béèrè pé báwo làwọn yẹn gan ṣe jẹ lọ́ọ̀yà in that fake constitution. A máa lọ lórí studio nísìn yàn náà kí mo ṣe ní 4 minutes. Irú gbogbo àwọn yẹn nísìn. Ìyẹn máa wonder pé báwo lọ ṣe di lọ́ọ̀yà. Báwo lọ ṣe di lọ́ọ̀yà. Lórí fake constitution ni gbogbo wọn ń lò látijọ́ yìí. Fake constitution ni gbogbo wọn ń lò. But irọ́, because the country is fake, everybody like ẹ̀ bó ṣe fake yẹn. Àwọn jẹ gúrú lọ́ọ̀yà. Ṣé lọ́ọ̀yà làwọn yẹn náà ṣá? You know, instead of everybody to say Nigeria can no longer sustain itself, àwọn kan fi máa manage it on behalf of millions of Nigerians. But then àwọn gullible Nigerians ló máa accept yẹn o. Níbi tọ́rọ̀ dé nísìn kó olúkálukú fa ọmú ìyá ẹ̀ ní ìtàṣe pẹ̀lú Nàìjíríà yẹn is more than enough. Kò work fáráalé, kò work fágbàlagbà, kò work fọmọdé, kò work fún mẹ̀kúnnù. So kí la wá ń fẹ́ máa parọ́ fúnra wa fún? But àwọn gullible idiots, you know, kí ló wà ń bẹ̀? Kí ìlú oríṣiríṣi wà, ká ní àsíá tiwa, ká ní economy tiwa. Mo ń wo headline kan láàárọ̀ yìí nísìn. Wọ́n kàn fi Nàìjíríà gba owó ni. Kano farmer says World Bank project will boost agriculture. Ṣé ń gbọ́? Àwọn ará Kano. Wọ́n kàn fi Nàìjíríà gba owó left and right. But ẹni tó mọ̀ nísìn. A máa béèrè pé kí ló dé tí ìyà ṣe ń jẹun. Ìyà máa jẹ yín náà. because owó tó yẹ kó lò ní Nàìjíríà is only ọwọ́ àwọn kan ló wà, kò dẹ̀ circulate, gbogbo owó yìí ò circulate. Only few people are enjoying Nigeria. That's why you see them in the party and náwó, wá tẹ̀sí yín lójú left and right. Àwa tá dẹ̀ ń sọ títọ́ ẹ̀ dá wa lóhùn. Nàìjíríà tó ní kankan tó fẹ́ ọ́fà yín, Nàìjíríà yẹn lẹ́ń ariwo àwọn ọmọdúnrún ti pọ̀ jù lókè o. So I'm just about 2 minutes before we go to the studio. So I mean, imagine kọ́ máa sọ fún yín pé ẹ jẹ́ n prep sílẹ̀ so that so but àwa tí a fẹ́ lọ àwa ní ká dúró tán. That's all I can say. Ká dúró tán, ká má tún jẹ́ kí nǹkan kan kó confuse wa, because confusion is ti pọ̀ jù gan láàrin àwọn tó náà fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. Gbàtẹ́ pẹ́ lómi gan ní faith pé nǹkan tá à ń ṣe yóò máa bọ́ sí, a tún máa béèrè ìbéèrè. I mean, ẹ wo 1999 constitution with all these Nigerian bar association àwọn wèrè, ṣé lọ́ọ̀yà làwọn yẹn, where they cannot challenge the constitution. Wọ́n fi prep ilé sílẹ̀ because tí bá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ mo fẹ́ tún máa fọwọ́ kún bẹ̀yẹn. Yà fi flag yọ aṣíwájú, àsíá orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá, kò máa rí bẹ́ẹ̀. So ìtí gbogbo wa máa agree pé okay, a ti try láti ṣe pẹ̀lú Nàìjíríà kò work, so kí la wá ń fẹ́ máa tanra wa fún? A ti gbìyànjú títí kò work fọmọdé, kò work fàgbàlagbà. Yes, few people máa jẹ níbẹ̀ náà, bọ́ ṣé gbogbo èèyàn ló ní Nàìjíríà favour? Tíyàn méjì mẹ́ta bá ti jẹ táǹkù tiẹ̀ náà rí jẹ níbẹ̀, òun gbàdúrà pé ká má pín, torí pé òun náà ń dúró pé kí tán ẹ̀ kó wá, kí wọn náà lè ká lè máa ṣe ráńkà dédé fún wọn náà. Àbí nǹkan tí pọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yín tẹ̀ ń dúró dé kan nìyẹn. Ẹ wá ń wà wá ta wà labroad, ẹ ń wò wá some people that are special. Kò sí nǹkan tó special labroad o, ẹ bá ẹ tí mọ̀ ẹ, kò sí nǹkan tó special labroad. Yes, a ní fọkànbalẹ̀, à ń ṣiṣẹ́ bíi kúrú ni 12 hours 14 hours. Kò sẹ́ni tó ń ṣe 8 hours ní abroad, kódà ẹni tó ní business ara ẹ̀gbọ́n tó máa ṣe 24 hours ni. Kò sẹ́ni tó ń ṣe 8 hours ní abroad tẹ́ ẹ bá mọ̀. Abroad is wàá máa ṣiṣẹ́ bíi kúrú ni. Ṣé ìgbà táwa ní ká lọ nísìn, ṣé kò dá pé ká lọ? Tìbí ta bá dá dúró, àwa náà ni máa káàkiri, wọn ni máa wá immigration, ẹlòmíì ní sí immigration ló pa níbi tó wà. Immigration níbi tó ti ń wá ìwé ọ̀hún gan kò padà rí gbà. I don't think a lot of you understand. Ẹ rò pé easy pé kíyàn wà labroad ni? Easy kíyàn wà labroad. Èmi yẹn la ṣe ń sọ pé ta bá dá kólúkálukú lọ dánmú ìyẹ́mù, èyí tá ṣe labroad gan ṣé kò tí tò ní? A wà labroad títí ẹlòmíì ti wà labroad 40 years 30 years 25 years. Tàbádẹ́ ìgbà ìlú tiwa náà, àwa náà lè máa develop ìlú wa díẹ̀. Wọ́n ní máa fi wá gbowó òṣì ní Kánò, máa gba owó Kánò Pharmacies World Bank Project. Ṣé owó tó gbà nísìnyẹn ṣé ó kan àwọn tó wà ní south? Èyí tó bá dẹ̀ dé south náà wọ́n kàn pín mọ́ra wọn lọ́wọ́ ni. Everybody is just telling lies. Nigeria is going to work. One day Nigeria will work. It's the best country in the world. Blah, blah, blah. Blow. Òyìnbó òṣì, òyìnbó rọ́. Wọ́n ti fi kóyín lómi ọbẹ̀ jẹ. A dẹ̀ ń sọ fún wa pé okay, ẹ ti jẹ́ ká wò báyìí, kólúkálukú máa lọ. Nigeria yóò kò ṣiṣẹ́ for anybody. It's just lies. Ilé ṣe fóònù tó respond ní sìnkẹ́. Ààrẹ gbogbo icon wa. Àgbà kò lélẹ̀ láàárọ̀ yìí. And it could work. It's not working for anybody. So why are we all pretending as if it's going to work? Let everybody go on their own separate ways. That's the only option on the table. It's not viable. Everybody's looking to at least. According to fair Nigeria, going to travel out because some people don't travel out. No money, better opportunity. No money value. More carnation headline. Tamasola, doctor, nurses are keep fleeing ṣé kó dìgbà tí gbogbo àwọn doctors wa àwọn nurses wa tó yẹ kọ́ máa you know bá a ṣe ní fake ọlọ́pàá fake soldier everything is fake. Mo rí Yorùbá máa nǹkan náà ìyẹn school teacher, how can a school teacher impact gbàtẹ́ yẹ pé system tó work ni, because if the system was working ó yẹ kó ti ná àbẹ̀ tipẹ́, but ó easy fún wa láti ṣó ojú èèyàn gbogbo àwọn terrorist tó wà ní gbó wọn ní lọ́wọ́ àwọn yẹn àmọ́ ibi tí wàkílù wà nísìn ọlọ́run wọn tí yẹn wà láti wà ní Dubai nísìn táwọn máa gbádùn ayé ẹ máa support Nigeria o. Nigeria never happened to any one of us. Let's go and speak to the studio. Mo kí gbogbo yín o lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí èdè ní 23rd as we now meet up with Starr Radio.
All you wonderful people who are tuning in this morning to listen to us. This is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I can say emphatically that we got our own, the one and only Miss Olaimi Koiki on now. Okay, yeah. Let's cross over to our North London studios where we have the White Lion himself, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who has joined in. But let me say good morning once again. Moses Olaniran says, what is gospel vibes all about? My man, African people are very religious than Westerners. Too much of biblical stuff, you know. Some way, somehow, we have to get something that we believe in, you know. If not, if we want to follow our leaders, I think we'll go crazy. But well, we are here, Starr Radio UK, to bring you all that you need to know when it comes to the news front. And let me take the opportunity to say good morning to you, Mr. Olayomi.
A very good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our listeners from around the globe, and welcome once again to the 23rd of August 2022 on Starr Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yes, how are you doing, sir?
Very, very good. As usual, when you're alive, there's a lot to worry about, and there's also a lot to solve, as humanity is very, very important. But I'm doing very well after a very long outing to Oxford Street, to Shepherd's Bush. The underground, like I say, is always extremely hot in this weather. But after almost 5 hours outing, I think it was still worth it to have a glimpse of what it looks like, outside, with busy shopping, shoppers, almost everywhere was completely packed. And, we might probably talk about back.
Let's bear with us. Back up. Yummy?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, he's back. He's back. Yeah. I think your line went, but let before I come back to you, Adebambo Anthony says, my brother, good morning. You are doing wonderful. Good morning to you, Adebambo, there as well. That is what Starr Radio UK. Now, let's quickly talk about your outing yesterday, because I was watching a bit of the video, and that's trying to create more awareness to what is happening in Nigeria. And if you go around and talking to people, how do they perceive what is going on in Nigeria, and what are their stance as to whether they think that, look, as some of us sit on the platform and say that, look, with what is happening, it's better to be divided than to go together and we'll all fall in the abyss. Now, what have they said? What are the reactions of some people?
Well, depending on who you're speaking with, I actually bumped into a colleague of mine that works with BBC, a Yoruba man, to be precise. I also, it was all kind of mix yesterday, where one of the travelers from holiday from Nigeria apparently watched me on YouTube. I was able to catch up with me. As I was, doing the campaign. I think the awareness is not just to those that we are talking to on the back home and outside the country as well. It's also trying to create the awareness to maybe it's an average British citizen or other African countries that are living here in UK. But the most important thing is, when you look at, how and why things work is because there's a system that is put in place, a mechanism that is put in place. And this has been one of the most difficult aspects in Nigeria and most African countries, that we've not put in those mechanisms in place, to curb, all kind of menace from just, as dropping a litter in central London, in as much as, even if you think of dropping it without anybody telling you the appropriate way to put it out, you might want to look back again and say maybe a camera or someone might also be capturing out your picture and upload it on the social media. Or again, in a society where the bin is also there and people are emptying those bins and they're getting paid for that. I looked at the road network as each time I go to central London, Oxford Circles, you wonder, with the almost 30 feet of the, of those, length of the road, and yet, the double decker pass through it. But when you compare that to Nigeria, a tanker full of, a very flammable, material, then end up, tilting to the left, tilting to the right. And I think an average Nigerian think that is the right thing. It's not the right thing when you look at a state like Ondo State that has one of the biggest bitumen, in the world today. You will expect that almost every part, at least if not Nigeria, almost every part of the southwest should have been used with that bitumen. But the question is, the management is not there. And the reason the management is not there, it goes back again because the unity of Nigeria is still questionable after the 100 years or thereabout of the amalgamation. And when you go back again and look at the independence of Nigeria, the question is, was those that fought for that independence will be happy to see Nigeria the way it is today in 21st century?
Well, listen, that's interesting one there. Submission from Mr. Limey's rounds yesterday, and that awareness that we were talking about. If you have met, you're not very sure of what is happening. I mean, this is a place to be, so you can be informed or well informed. Okay, now let's come to this story before we come to the other story. The next Yoruba Nation mega rally will be the last straw to break the camel back. Now, we've not had a tentative date for this rally, okay? But it looks like they're saying that, look, that is a rally that everybody has to be looking out for. Now, if that fails to move the federal government to take action of breaking the country or allowing a peaceful, exit of the Yoruba group or tribe, then there's going to be something else happening.
I'm not sure whether you can still hear me. I know there's a bit of a glitch in the communication.
Loud and clear.
Well, this statement has always been put out, when it comes to, preparing the minds of millions of Yoruba people across the globe. Like I said, Professor Banji Akintoye, I was in that meeting with him on Sunday when he was speaking to, some of the medias and also some few individuals in a Zoom meeting. And the mega rally that we are talking about, I think it gave a bit of clue, that this rally is going to come up. I'm not sure whether it's going to be Lagos, but he talked about the rally has been done in different part of the state in the southwest, but Lagos was not allowed to have its own share, and that means Lagos at some point will do. Nobody knows the date yet, but you're quite right. The expectation that now that the 5 million petition has been signed, which is something that nobody could see it physically, but you could see it online, and based on the fact that millions of people sign to say that this is what they want. Would that now materialize bringing it down to the street of southwest in terms of the numbers of people that will be coming out for this mega rally? I believe that with 4 days notice from what Professor Banji Akintoye said will be given enough time, and that means if anyone is traveling from any other state, at least you will be able to get and arrive at that destination. What will be the reaction of the federal government in terms of the mega rally? Because I'm sure the federal government, the state governors are already at least getting the feel of this rally. They are not sure as well when it's going to happen, but I'm sure they're also preparing for it. But one thing we still have to remember is, as much as the 1999 Constitution is a military decree, it still also enable freedom of protest and the right for gathering if you believe just as the PDP, the APC, and the Labour Party have been having their own share of campaign, but this time around, the Yorubas will be coming out in their millions, and the only reason for that is that they want a peaceful dissolution out of Nigeria.
Well, if you are listening to us, what do you think about the mega rally that's supposed to be taking place in Lagos? The tentative date has not been fixed, but do you think that will break the back of the federal government for them to say, look, we are, back in the, Moses, allow me again. Moses said, allow me. In the Bible, when the children of Israel wanted to leave Egypt, and Pharaoh said, you can't go, you can't go, you can't go. There was one last straw when the firstborns of the Egyptians died. Then they said that the Pharaoh said, oh yeah, you all leave, and they just broke them. So maybe that will happen. But what do you think about that? Adebambo Anthony says that, but my brother, life is not good when you are in a cage because you will never be free. That's how we citizens of Nigeria feel now. Because Buhari's government have destroyed the life of Nigerians. Okay, and let me go on. It says, because of selfishness of turning Nigeria to Fulani country, that's why he is trying to kill Sunday Igboho. But now, United Nations should know that we, Oduduwa Nation, are ready to exit from Nigeria, no going back. Moyiwa Senegal says, good morning, house. Good morning to you, Moyiwa. I hope you're doing very, very well. All right, then. Now, let's move on to some other stories making the round. Now, the doctors and nurses, yesterday we were talking about them. Now, we know that some are saying that, well, with the way they are being treated, the way their salary and everything, we have one doctor who was supposed to even leave the country and ended up dying, facing an untimely death. Now, what do you think about all that? But why are they saying, why is the Minister of Health saying that? Is he saying that to say that, look, there's not a good environment for these people, or just saying that to say that, look, people are being selfish, they don't want to be more devoted to the country, that's why they are playing the country?
Well, it's not the first time that we've seen exodus of Nigerians, depending on what sector that you are. I mean, from engineer, to scientists, to researchers, to teachers, and then so much of different professionals and artisans that believe that the continuity of living in Nigeria and trying to survive will be the best option if they can get that opportunity to leave the country. There was an interview, just to take you back, I believe, some few years, I think last year, when doctors, were trying to be recruited into going to Dubai. That literally, created a lot of problem with the federal government. And the next interview date of that particular location was not even allowed to be held. When you now look at the headline coming out, I saw the protest from Ekiti State, Ado Ekiti, in the southwest of Nigeria yesterday, where nurses and doctors have been not paid. And the headline says doctors and nurses keep fleeing Nigeria under Buhari regime. This is the health minister, but he's now also saying that as a sacrifice, is now pleading as a sacrifice to a country where healthcare people are not paid, citizens are worried about what next to eat, security is there, job opportunity is there, is not there. Students have been locked away for almost 586 days today, but it seems that the health minister is now saying that he wants to encourage them to stay back so that they can fix the health sector together. You can't imagine what more can come out from a failed system that is now pleading with the citizen from not traveling out of the country. Why would they want to travel in the first place if the government was doing all the needful? The Minister of State for Health, Joseph, yesterday reiterated that President Muhammadu Buhari's regime to address the brain drain in Nigeria. The greatest challenge facing the sector presently is the doctors and the nurses leaving the country. But I want to rather encourage them to stay back, seeing the effort the government is putting, according to the minister, Mr. Ekuma Kama, who spoke with the journalists while inaugurating project at the Federal Medical Center, Ebute Metta, Lagos, identify brain drain as the major health sector challenge this morning?
Well, I've been listening to us. You are a doctor. You are a nurse. You are in Nigeria working there. Do you think that clarion call by the Kenyan minister that you all stay behind, so that we can all do devotion, sacrifice, encourage them to, to help revitalize the health sector? Do you think the government has created the enabling environment for you to stay? Do you even feel secure enough? Well, we're going to come to security in a moment, but when you was in the say, thanks my brother Archie from another country. I'm cool. In my regards to Koiki and others. Yes, yes, yes. I am an honorary member of the Yoruba nation. Okay. All right then. Now let's move on to security. Now yesterday, during the what do you call it? This is the second annual general conference of the Nigerian Bar Association. We had two presidential candidates, Atiko and Obi, coming to slam government about the insecurity issue that is going on in the country, and saying that, well, 2023 election is the turning point for Nigeria. It's either make or break. But what? How? All this while they've been in the country. It is now that they are vying for the presidency. Now they think that they have to make big noise on that front.
Well, the event went ahead as planned, apart from the fact that, one of the presidential, aspirant, for whatever reason known to the team, did not attend. And that is, Bola Tinubu, that, was represented quite very well, but maybe in a different perspective in terms of the outfit of, the Vice President Shetima, because he actually dressed on a suit and tie with a kind of a trainers or a jogging shoe into that particular event, and it has become a cartoon. A lot of people, and it's actually even trending as we speak right now. But we're gonna come back, to that in terms of his outfit. But yes, Peter Obi spoke. Atiku was there. Both of them, actually says that the federal government of the APC. Remember that Atiku was a member of the APC at some point. And it seems that this political party or individuals just move at the one that feels as at the appropriate time. But Peter Obi and Atiku, talked that the federal government over the insecurity of the country, the economic crisis confronted the nation, and also stating that Nigeria possess all the negative indices that qualify it as a failed state. That also shows that what we are saying that Nigeria is a failed state is nothing hidden, because these two presidential candidates said so. But one thing that they also said was, 2023 will be Nigeria decisive year. It is quite right. It will determine whether Nigeria will continue to hold as a country, or the country will dissolve, just as Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, about 31 years ago. All this took place, when Atiku Obi spoke at the 62nd annual general conference of the Nigerian Bar Association in Lagos. But the other way around, Shetima, that is also part of the current government and also the vice, president to Tinubu, was represented as well. But in the other way around, while the two were criticizing his government, he had no other option than to say to Nigerians to vote for their joint Muslim ticket because of their achievement as governor in Lagos and Borno State. Well, let's talk about Lagos. Lagos, as we speak today, is not a mega city, as we have been told. Just last year, a young girl that was traveling in Lagos, accident happened, issues happened across the globe in mega city as well. But when you look at the mega city that is being portrayed, to Nigerians or to the world in Lagos, it still becomes, one of the most, polluted area in the southwest. In as much as Lagos is generating the bigger last share for money into the state and then being shared across the 36 states, but Lagos does not have what it takes to be called a mega city. I was actually in central London, and that could link it back again to Lagos State. With the revenue coming from Lagos, if the Yoruba was on their own, they would have been able to develop the road network. I was actually asking people that look at the 12 million visitors, people that visit, Oxford Circus, every Oxford Street rather, every week. And the question is, how will they be able to get home and get in there? It is all about the network from the transportation system. But today, the only mode of transportation in Lagos is for you to drive on the Okada, and that is not a very good one. Let's go back to Shetima. He also talked about being the governor of Borno State. Borno today is now one of the most terrorized part of Nigeria, and remember that he was the governor while the Chibok girl was kidnapped. It was given an intel not to allow the state to allow conduct of the exam, but rather, as we speak today, some and so many of those that were kidnapped have not returned to their loved ones. Even some of them have already started giving birth to the same terrorists that kidnapped them. I'll come back again to you in the studio.
Well, listeners, that's quite an interesting one, an interesting piece there. But my question is, what did the representative or Tinubu say about the security issue? Because it looks like Obi and Atiku were hitting that, saying that, look, security, we have security issue here, insecurity going on all around the country, and therefore something needs to be done. But what did his rep say about the security issue?
Well, I mean, in terms of the security issue, this is a government that have spent trillions of, naira, but yet to no result. He hasn't said much apart from the fact that, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, the governor of Lagos State was there, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and so many other dignitaries. The question that was the speaker advocate the reform of the Nigerian judiciary in order to position the country on the path of transformational change. There's not going to be any transformational change. Let's go back to the 1999 military decree. This was put onto Nigerians, and the same Nigerian Bar Association that should have challenged it refused to do so. Rather, everybody has used what we call, a fake constitution to allow that to be used, for the last 23 years of democracy. But also, in his remark, Atiku observed that the country is more disunited. There's no doubt about that today than it had ever been since the democracy took root in 1999. Noting that Nigeria had never found itself in such a very critical situation. It's because Nigeria was never a one country, it was forced on Nigerians. Also, speaking on the theme, bold transition in 21st century as far as our country is concerned, is submitted that Nigeria are all the negative indices. But like I said, break or make, we will be given whether Nigeria will continue to hold the ground, as a lot of people are now becoming more awakened, especially with the communication that is much more faster, much quicker. More Nigerians have known more about Nigeria than what they've ever known in the last 62 years because of the social media. 171 days, 13 hours, 33 minutes, and the seconds keep dropping will determine whether election will go ahead or the Yorubas, the Biafra, will split out of Nigeria. And those that wants to keep Nigeria might also keep the name Nigeria in other part of the country.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. It's Olaimiko again, not London studios. I'm actually here in the Starr studios, and we're bringing updates from Nigeria. We'll be coming to the judicial reform that they were talking about there. But hold on for a minute. Prince Abimbola also they says that good morning, Mr. Archie and White Lion. Well done, Niger is not working again and it's dead. Now, Adebambo says that now let the world understand that Yoruba just want to exit from Nigeria with peace, but now if Buhari, like it or not, Odua nation will live in Nigeria because Buhari is terrorizing and destroying we Yoruba, but time has come for us to leave Nigeria and let Queen Elizabeth should understand, Queen Elizabeth understand that if there is bloodshed happening in Yoruba land, she's going to face the punishment in heaven. Oh my goodness, that's a strong worded word. Now, I don't know your additional also says Equator, sir, Mr. Koike there as well. Starr Radio UK. Now, let's come to the judicial reform. Now, should there be a judicial reform? Now, what are they going to do? Are they going to appoint new judges? And we're talking about insecurity. Now, we're talking about insecurity. First of all, we need to crack down and stop the terrorists and all. It said that whoever is trying to make the country and I mean unhospitable. Okay, but if we say, oh, instead of seeing that one, because the government, the federal government has spent trillions in that and they've not seen any result, so we should now go and see to reforming our judiciary. I don't think that is going to bring about any peace or this and that, would it?
Well, in terms of the judicial reform, it still goes back to the whole 1999 constitution, and you must have a constitution that works, not a Sharia that is used in the northern part of Nigeria and a different law that is used in other part of Nigeria today. Because if you actually commit a crime in the north, you are probably going to be using a Sharia to decide that. And it seems already that there's a division. When you look at the Constitution has given a lot of power, that any president in the world would ever achieve, to this particular, Nigeria as it is today. And if power belongs to the people, how come then, the Constitution that has purposely, crafted in a way that is now having a hindrance amongst a lot of the states across the country. When you look at the criminality that is happening, we do have a lot of criminals in the southwest, in the southeast, in the middle belt. Just as an impersonating officer was picked up in your state yesterday, is a teacher, and he has been impersonating as a superintendent officer. All these are crimes that are local, but what they've actually done is allow Nigeria to run since 1999 because a lot of Nigerians wanted a new system to work after the failed 1993 election that Babangida annulled, for a reason known to him. But Obasanjo was brought in. Nobody questioned the constitution. These are the same, Nigerian Bar Association that should have fought that fake constitution. Rather now they're asking that maybe in the 21st century, according to what they had yesterday, there could be a kind of a reform. I'm not sure whether a reform will solve the situation in Nigeria today because Nigeria is really at a crossroad.
Interestingly, when it comes to constitutional reform, I mean, it has to be triggered from the House of Senate, and I mean, is it the chamber, the two chambers there? They have to, do that. But I know that it looks like the Northerners have more representatives in those chambers, and therefore a tendency that they will, majority will win the move to actually reform it can never happen.
Well, there's no way, anything that can talk about when you look at the the issue of Nigeria as it is today. You would hardly not be able, to do anything because Nigeria, as it has been set up, based on what we have, will be very, very difficult for anybody, to work on it because, like you said, there's more numbers to the north in terms of the senator, the House of Reps, and that means the chances of making a change in a constitution, in amendment, will be very, very difficult because that would easily, be wind down as quickly as possible and not be allowed to go through, based on those, fact that they have, the numbers. Maybe tomorrow, if I have the time, I will give us, a brief of those numbers because we have them in terms of the current senator that we have as against, each of the, the districts from the southeast to the northeast to the northwest to the middle belt and to the south or the southwest.
Well, interesting. Well, hopefully tomorrow, keep your fingers crossed. Yomi said we'll be bringing you the represent how it's all represented. The various states are represented there, whether the north has got majority or the south or whatever is going on. But Adebambo says that let what the British Empire did to Odua land should come and make amendment now and come break Nigeria as it's before. Yoruba should go, Biafra should go, like Hausa should be on their own. Well, he's talking about total disintegration there, but it's all Starr Radio UK. Now, let's move on to some other stories. Yesterday we did talk about ASU. Now, has government now, some way, somehow, met them halfway? Because it seems like they're saying they're going to have a meeting on the 28th of August, and that will determine whether they still want to go on. So if they say they still want to go on, maybe government has stretched an olive branch to them, and they say that this time be somehow good. What information do you have about that?
Well, I mean, the National Executive Council meeting of ASU will have a meeting on the 28th of August, which is this coming weekend. The 4 weeks ultimatum that we gave is expiring that same day. We'll be making our decision based on the result of the state congress. The NEC has to depend on the result of the congress. The zones have held their own congress. The branch chairman will also talk to their members and they'll get a feedback. So it seems, as extension might happen, or maybe a call off, all these will determine during the National Executive Council of the ASU, the Academic Staff Union of the University, this Sunday on the 28th of August 2022. But one thing is, there's still a lot of, decision that would happen. Maybe there might be changes between the federal government and ASU, but as we speak right now, actually during my late night conversation yesterday, a caller spoke to us from Lagos, where two of our children have also been part of those that have sat at home since February 14. Now it's now about 586 days that Nigerian students are currently out of school.
Well, are you a student in Nigeria? What do you think is going to happen? It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Maybe the ASU will have a rethink and think, let's go back. Let's go and sacrifice for the nation. Let's go and teach our children. What do you think is going to happen there? Okay. Yomi, let's move on. Let me just come back to you so that you move on with some of the other stories. But there was one that is pressing me, troubling me, that is pertaining to passports, especially those of us in the diaspora. And we want to get ourselves native passports. Let me put it that way. So you might have your British passport, but you want to get a Ghanaian passport, or you also want to get a Nigerian passport where their dual citizenship is allowed. Now, what are the officers in the passport office doing extorting money from them? Is it that you have to bribe them before you get your passport, or what are they doing there?
Well, passport is is one document that enables you to move from point A to B, even if you're traveling within African country. But today, so many Nigerians, both at home and outside, are finding it extremely difficult, to get their passport. So, Mr. Aregbesola, that is, the minister in charge of that, has now appealed to officer. Imagine you have to appeal, to those that you are meant to either sack or question why such extortion is happening, both in Nigeria and even here in the United Kingdom, in Dubai. There's a lot of other problems like that, in Oman. Some cannot even get the passport, and also in America. The question then is, Aregbesola appeals to passport officer to stop extorting Nigerians. Mr. Aregbesola urged the Nigerian Immigration Services to beam a searchlight on hearing officers bent on exploiting passport visa application process. According to him, the Minister of Interior that has failed as a minister, just as so many other ministers that have been in this government, you tend to question them. I mean, when you look at him, he was a governor of Osun State, and there's still a lot of question mark on his head as we speak this morning. But rather, because the whole system of these old individuals that have come together, and told Nigerians that they were coming in, to make life better for Nigerians. But as we speak today, Nigerians have now faced more difficulties, and just as getting a passport that belongs to you from a country called Nigeria, for those that believe in Nigeria, it is one of the most difficult things as well. So Starr Radio UK, come back again to you in the studio. So he's actually telling the passport officer to stop the tarnishing the image of Nigerian Immigration Services, accusing them of creating artificial scarcity.
Now, when it comes to those of us in the diaspora, so in the UK and other places, I mean, even in Benin or that's outside the country, how easy is it for you to get your hand on a Nigerian passport?
Well, like I said, an average Nigerian today cannot get a passport. Is one of the most difficult things, to achieve as a Nigerian. So whether you are using it just for a form of identification, or you just need it to travel, to as far as maybe closest border, which is Benin Republic, you probably don't need it, but you at least you still have to have it with you, because as an ECOWAS economic community of West African states, you should be able to have it with you when you're traveling to Ghana or if you have to go to countries where you probably need a passport. I mean, yes, luckily, a lot of Nigerians that have left the country for some years have been able to get another passport, whether you're living in Belgium or Germany. But what about millions of Nigerians that could not get it? It's the same problem, just as remember that so many prisons have been broken into under the nose of this minister. And as we speak today, there's a particular one that took place at Bolongo, Correlation Center in Oyo State, where the criminal has fled. And as we speak today, no update. Kuje prison, under the nose of this same minister in Abuja, was broken into. As we speak today, hardly have they captured any of those criminals apart from Lai Mohammed, a minister of information, coming to tell us just 48 hours here in London that the terrorism issue in Nigeria was already something under control. But yet, as we speak today, there's more terrorism activities, more kidnapping cases, and more Nigerians finding it very difficult to get a passport this morning.
Well, Starr Radio UK 11:39. I will have to move fast because our time is running like no man's business. Now, yesterday was a sit down, would be the normal sit down at home at the southeast. Now we have the legal team of Nnamdi Kanu after his rendition to the country, his arrest and rendition into the country more than a year now. Now they are saying that look, come October, whether the legal framework of Nigeria or the the federal government to expect what fireworks. So what do you think they are going to do there?
Well, yes, that is what it is. And also yesterday, they paid a courtesy visit as usual to Nnamdi Kanu. And just quickly, I'll go straight to what Barrister Ifeanyi Ejimafo had to say. Update on our routine visit to our indefatigable client, Onyendu Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, at the headquarters of the Department of the State Service, Abuja, which was yesterday. The court order routine visit to Nnamdi Kanu that took place yesterday. Mazin Nnamdi Kanu was conducted at the DSS Abuja. The visit was conducted in a strict observance of the new DSS protocol introduced to distort the court order guideline. According to his barrister, including prospective positive outcomes on Onyendu pending appeal come October 2022. We are looking forward to a more proactive, positive court outing on the 11th of October 2022. This date is sacrosanct. Onyendu extended his heartfelt regard and love to you all. So yes, you're quite right, as they are preparing to see if they can get at least a bail condition for Nnamdi Kanu, even though the federal government, is finding it very difficult, to allow a court process to continue. Rather, what we've seen is, they've tried, to distort, the court case, and that means it's becoming very difficult, for the legal perspective of, Nnamdi Kanu to really work out, how they can get him out. Even though United Nations, arbitral human rights have spoken on his case, well, 42 northern groups have said they should keep away from the situation in Nigeria because, as far as they're concerned, Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB is a proscribed criminal, and that means the government will have to deal with them as criminals.
Wow. Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, 11:42, and I'll just allow Yomi to continue with the updates and what is happening on social media platform. Over to you, sir.
Well, since we've done so much in terms of the update, we just go straight to the social media. And the first thing that has just popped up, some 24 minutes, that means while we were live here, official ASU, good morning, Nigerian students. As the university are having the Congress meeting to decide the fate of the strike action, kindly represent your school in the comment section. Imagine this is what, Nigeria has turned into. The minister there was telling Nigerian doctors not to flare out of the country. So let's just talk a little bit more on one other aspect, and then we go straight to the social media. Once again, you're watching Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Nigeria relies on 9 power plants for 71% of the power. Power is one of the biggest threats in Nigeria. I talked about that while I was, in central London yesterday. None of those businesses will operate should the power go down for 10 minutes. That means from the food sector to the shopping mall that people are doing, people will not be able to use their bank card to make transaction and make payment, and that could be a lot of problems. So 570 million debt contractor to sue Oshun over airport is coming on that airline. Oil firms owe banks 5.9 trillion amid losses and theft. That is also coming in that headline. Also, Global Citizen plans event to eradicate poverty. And that will just take us straight to the social media this morning just to look at what people are discussing. Like I said, Shetima is currently trending, in terms of his outfit to the Nigerian Bar Association conference yesterday. Let's look at what people are saying. Faith Omoye says, this NBA drama has reinforced the popular opinion that Tinubu is just a presidential placeholder for Shetima. Nigerians, vote wisely. Ifafunsho says, I feel so sad to see Nigerians insulting Shetima dress code. I was expecting to read analysis of his presentation in an NBA conference he attended. Sadly, Twitter is flooded with mocking now he dressed. When are people going to grow up in this colonial country? Neferati, while Peter Obi is at the NBA conference by himself, Atiku and Shetima went to the conference with all their village people. This is exactly what Obi is against. He will run a very lean government, while Atiku and Tinubu will run a bloated government of friends and cronies and so much. And you can see that a lot of conversation is going in there. So look at what more people are discussing, in terms of the social media, this morning. Arekanowi says, fighting for Yoruba race is a very dangerous cause, but we will never give up our race. The biggest attack I have received during my fight for Yoruba freedom are from my fellow Yorubas. No matter what happens, we will continue to fight for the Yoruba nation struggle. So what are Nigerians saying as well on social media before we wind down this morning on Star Radio UK at exactly 11:44 for those of you that are joining us as well. Why did Nigerian government quickly proscribe the indigenous people of Biafra, people only seeking for referendum, but yet to proscribe Miyati Allah, the fourth terrorist group in the world? Who else could say this? The Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka has now questioned the federal government once again. And we will have that interview tomorrow, during Niger Voices and also some other areas as well. And the last one from the social media this morning, Peter Obi is a class Nigeria has never added this good. Go and verify. And I can see Peter Obi there sitting in front of a very beautiful bar, maybe at the NBA that took place yesterday while he's going through his mobile phone. And just to wind it up, the mouthpiece again reposted Sunday Igboho calls for international support for actualization of Yoruba Biafra nation, says the British made Nigeria is dead.
Is the British made Nigeria dead or not? Before we go, now Adebambo says that, my brother, this is what we're talking about. Nigeria is now, everything about Nigeria is fake, and Nigeria is no more again, because everything in Nigeria have already died. Okay, my brother, there's some country in the world that is not up to 4 states at Yoruba, in the country, at Yoruba. What now happened, that we will not exist from Nigeria as a country. Odua nation have come to stay. Okay, continue to keep your comments coming through. My apologies, maybe I'm on what I was supposed to say. Listen, just bear with us. Yomi, yeah, before you go, sir.
Well, stay tuned with Archie to take you through the rest of the program. But I will be back again same time tomorrow, where we continue with all the news and the update from Nigeria. But for now, stay blessed and stay safe. From wherever you're watching us. Once again, this is Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Tommy, let me say thank you very much for that wonderful update. It is Star Radio UK. Tomorrow, so let me thank you for joining us once again for another edition of the morning show. But for now, let me bring you this song whilst we take a bit of it.
Well, once again, we'll go with the Star Radio as usual. It's another beautiful morning. A lot of calls, never ending. Calls never end when it comes to myself. I'm not going to spend too much time. I'm probably come back later. But all I can say is, if you think that Nigeria is going to work, well, you're probably fooling yourself among millions of gullible Nigerians. Nigeria is a deliberate act not to work. Complete deliberate act. You can ring, like that. And the problem is I'm finding it difficult. I don't know what I've done with this phone. So Nigeria is a deliberate work. Okay, exit desktop. Okay, that's why I don't wait people let them come back. We just keep calling. So anyway, Nigeria is not going to work. It's a failed. Mo wà lórí program bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń pè tẹ́ ń pè mo wà lórí program please. We are sọ̀rọ̀ later. All right. Mo wà lórí live program. I sọ̀rọ̀ later. Lè sọ̀rọ̀ àgbà call. We are program tẹ́ ń wọ́n is the wrong program. All right. All right. It's okay. All right. So all I can say is a lot of us that are waiting that Nigeria will become a beautiful country, it will work for you and your family. Don't waste too much of your energy trying to fix Nigeria. Those that knows that Nigeria is a failed country are those lawyers that you saw at the NBA yesterday. Those thief politicians. And I think the same lawyers are the one that will back them up when they lose election. The same old they call Loni State. You can see somebody like the 419 Osun State governor. So no one feel law. I to call from a lawyer. They continue to waste resources. Resources they can in coffee share ilu. They're not using that. All they will do is they will keep running, a fake country. So, in terms of those of us that have prepared our mind that we are going, we should not have any doubt in our mind that Nigeria is going to work. Let us have it at the back of our mind that the only thing we are right now is we fight it to the last man standing. Some will say, how do you fight it? You don't have the guns to fight the government. You don't have, the resources to fight the government. Let me say something. Government has been fought across the world before. Nigeria is not going to be the first country in the world that people will fight the government. And when I mean fight the government, I mean fight the government. It has been done even in countries that are more dangerous than Nigeria. And if you think Nigeria is the most dangerous country in the world, right? I don't think you know that there are so many dangerous countries in the world. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìlú wà tó yẹ pé wọ́n dangerous gan ju Nigeria lọ, but their citizens have stand firm to fight the government for their rights. Don't think that if you keep muted, those of you that are saying, oh, the election will solve your problem, your life will become better and all this nonsense that you are being told. I think some of you are thinking that the jamboree of election is the way out to fix Nigeria. Nigeria is gradually failed. You will wake up one morning, even before a declaration of Yoruba nation, and you will be told that there is no more money to run the operation of the country called Nigeria. Most of you, civil servants or civil service or wherever, one thing is your salaries will not be paid because your state do not have the money. So all you are doing is you are going to work and you are not getting paid because the state is bankrupt. So everything everybody is drinking off now, I'm talking about all these shit old politicians. They are trying to revive Nigeria. They want to keep Nigeria by all means. So even the money that they are meant to be using to run the operation of Nigeria, they are not using that money because that money, they want to use it to campaign for the election. owó tí ẹ kọ́ lò láti fi run economy state kankan. I'm talking about Lagos State as example now. Lagos State would pump all the money that they have trying to save Nigeria. So that's what they're trying to do now. Everybody, all the Euro, I'm not talking about the Southeast because it's to come about the Southeast, Middle Belt, or the Southwest, or the North. I'm talking about the Yoruba land. Owó tí ẹ kọ́ lò láti máa fi run operation state. They are now using that money and pumping it into an election to save Nigeria. Because they know that if they can save Nigeria again, if they can save Nigeria again, if they can save Nigeria, that guarantee that they will now squeeze every one of us. And this is what is going to happen if you give them a room again. If you allow them give them the room, whether it's the PDP state, which is Oyo, or don't go Oyo on the PDP abe. Or what they call a run operation state nisin. But and actually stop my live broadcast. Mo ti send message ilé mẹ́rin and you're still repeating the same thing.
No, me ò repeat mi ò pé mo kàn fẹ́ send message kan ní kíní wọlé mi
ò. So the only thing we can all do now to save ourselves, because politicians are not, they're not interested to save us. The politicians are not interested to save anybody. Forget about, whether arúgbó kan wà níbì kan. They are not interested to save anybody. Àwa la gbọ́dọ̀ save ara wa nísìn. What we have done is we have allowed the politician to continue to run the southwest of Nigeria on our behalf. And we got to stop it now. And we have to stop it collectively. We have to stop it collectively. Not just myself, every single one of us. Àti fún wọn ní room for 1999 títí di wákàtí tí gbogbo wa kò neglectly allow them. But, okay, politics is a dirty business. I don't want to get him. And they were able to do that successfully. They acquire a lot of money. That's why they all have money. They have money to do so much atrocities. And that's why our people are scared of them. Because ẹni tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ bí ra ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí nísìn, or ẹni tó bá gbójú sí politician nílé, wọ́n máa rán ayákìlà tó máa pa, ó dẹ̀ máa pa, kò dẹ̀ sí nǹkan tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀. And everybody knows that. Are we going to tolerate that in Yoruba land? Are we going to continue to allow that to exist? Or are we all going to stop it together? How do we stop it? This is the part of how we're going to stop it. By telling those at home that we must now come together to save ourselves. Because tá a bá save ara wa, it will have a big impact on us all. But if we save ourselves, then we will not have to worry. In another 10 years, I will be 50-something. Then I don't have to have it at the back of my mind. Because I'm traveling within a Yoruba land. You might say it's not a serious issue. This is a very, very serious situation that we are in at the moment. And it's not the time to joke about it. We are at the last straw, and we must have it at the back of our mind that we got to prepare our mind. Àwa ò sí nínú ilé lóòótọ́, But our mind is at home. I don't want to live here. I've lived here for 20-something years. I've had enough. When I can go back home and repeat the same thing. But if we failed to allow this to go through, it will have a repercussion on every single one of us. And that's something that we need to let everybody, this is the final straw that we must take very serious. It's not a time to joke. Àsìkò yóò ṣe time fún ìṣeré rárá. Àsìkò láti sọ pé gbogbo wa la máa fọwọ́ sí nǹkan tó wà ní bíbá. Because your politicians do not want Nigeria to break. The politicians don't want Nigeria to break. And they will do everything within their power not to want Nigeria to break. And the question is, ta ló fẹ́ benefit? All these politicians are not going to be, they're not going to be forever. Yes, wọ́n lè máa ní àwọn ní opportunity nísìn, àwọn ní governor, àwọn ní senator, àwọn ní house of rep, àwọn làwọn darí ètò ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, but they are not going to be here forever. Just like myself, gbogbo wọn ní sí bíbá forever. Ǹjẹ́ a ṣe tán láti make sure we are defending ara wa against all these evil bastard politicians that are holding us back? They deliberately hold us back. Kí ló wà níbẹ̀ pé, even in the midst of the democracy, it has not helped anybody. You know that. I know that. So many years from 1999 or something years, 30 padà sínú democracy, ta ló help? Yes, it could help maybe 1 or 3 people, but we are talking about the large proportion of people, of our people at home. It's not helping them. And that is why we must now say enough is enough. We must stop it. We must stop it with everything that we have. If not, it will become a problem in the future again. Because the politicians in Yoruba land do not want Nigeria to break. And that's a fact. Forget about support. No. They don't want Nigeria to break. Because Nigeria is their pot of soup. Inú bẹ̀rẹ̀ tí máa intimidate. Kódà ìwọ tó wà lábroad gan, wọ́n máa intimidate. Kò ń ṣe pé tó ń ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation. You might buy a land in Yoruba land today and you'll be intimidated. Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ń ra lé sí America, ẹ̀ ń ra lé sí abroad. Ṣé nígbà tẹ́ bá wá ra lé yẹn tán, ṣé wọ́n intimidate yín? Àbí tó bá rent ilé tó ń sanwó oṣù, tó ń sanwó weekly, ṣé èèyàn kan lè ti wá intimidate? So even those of you that are outside the country, then say, I'm not Nigeria go survive. You will be part of the problem that you will have a big impact. I'm done. What happened? Yeah, go and eat now. Oh, disturb me. My dying let me sing. You hear this solo. Okay? Come on, the program. Call your mother and deal with that, please. I am them. Could a lock on brother one salad. So what's the salad? I brought me anything. So I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna come back later, and then we'll probably have more conversation when I'm done with what I have to do. But one thing is, Yoruba politicians do not want Nigeria to break. Don't say, no, don't ask me. You go and do whatever you have to do. What is about rally my way? Mo bewani. Rally yen. I got proof by at the I'm begging you in advance now. I forget about the international community warfare and will film me. International community will film. And what I mean by film is they want to say, Fela dúró tó yìí, good life, motivational speaker. Àwọn díẹ̀ come àgbádùn. Èmi náà lè máa ṣe yẹn. Èmi náà lè jẹ́ ká drag Yoruba nation kí máa fi jẹun, kí máa fi gbádùn ayé mi pẹ̀lú àwọn family mi. But I rather want a Yoruba nation to be out of the picture as quickly as possible so that kémi náà lè mú kan mi lè máa ṣe. So that pressure can reduce there. Àlè wà fèsì ìjọba tó bá ń ṣe. So that tó bá ń ṣe òṣìá, a máa gbé wọn sáré, a máa report wọn. Ṣé fẹ́ pa fẹ́ máa jókòó máa ṣe Yorùbá nation forever ni? Èmi ò ní time yẹn. Tó bá yẹ pé ẹ̀yin ní time, èmi ò ní time yẹn. pé ká máa ṣe Yorùbá nation ká wá di torí àti di superstar àwọn èèyàn ti mọ̀ wá no I have a lot of other things tí mi náà fi ṣe and it's already restricting me to so many things tí mo fi ṣe because àwọn òpó òkè ìtagbé dání and I want to go back home mo fẹ́ lọ́lé bọ́mọ fẹ́ lọ́lé tí tó di pé ọmọ máa pààyàn ọmọ máa jíyàn gbé kò sí nǹkan kan tó you understand so gbogbo àlọ́ máa affect you if we don't fight it now gbogbo tó bá fẹ́ ṣe go and do it anything it doesn't matter kódà tó bá yẹ pé tó tẹ̀lé imagine anything tá a fi lè lọ go and prepare it at the back of your door so that ká má gbé pressure lé Ìgbòho nìkan. This is the time that we cannot afford to fail. Wọ́n ṣe ní gbàtà MK Abiola wọ́n rí push yẹn but àwọn kan fi jẹun and that's why today I told allow it to run for 20 years. We must stop it this time around and we stop it with everything that we have. If you can break into anything, break into it. If you can use technology to break anything, break it. Don't ask me, go and do it. Whatever it takes to stop the existence of our coalition or coexistence with this shithole country called Nigeria. Go and do it. And have a very good afternoon and bye for now.